In this video, I'm going to talk about creating a new Google Sheet, renaming that Google Sheet, inputting data, importing data, and sharing a Google Sheet. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm on my Google Drive homepage, and the first thing I'm going to click on is this big new button right here. I'm going to click on new. I'm going to scroll down to Google Sheets before clicking on this little arrow and then clicking on blank spreadsheet. So this is going to create a brand new spreadsheet that I can work on. And so the first thing I'm going to want to do is name this spreadsheet. So for the purposes of this video, I'm going to call this Google Sheets sample. And so now I can just go right ahead and start inputting data. So let's say I have people's names and I have their grade that they got on a test. So I got Bob, killing it with an A+. I got Mark, didn't do so great, got a C-. And I had Shelly, doing pretty all right with a B+. And finally, I had Steve sitting with an F. So I can continue putting in people's hometowns, for instance. I could put in their height. I could put in really any and every data. I can put in more names, more grades, really anything I wanted to continue putting in data. So one important thing that I want to do is, you see down here, I have sheet 1 and so on. What I want to do is I want to name this sheet. I want to be able to look at this and know what it is immediately. So I'm going to right click on here, and then I'm going to click on rename. So what I'm going to call this is name, grade, hometown, height, data. So I can do a shorter name, whatever just helps me remember and is really clear that what is in this part of the data. And so the reason I do that is because what I'm going to do next is I'm going to click on this little little plus sign in the bottom left corner where it says add sheet, and I'm going to create a new sheet. And you see everything that I had before has disappeared because if I click back on name, grade, and hometown, all that stuff, it's here. So when I click back on sheet 2, I can actually put new data. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on file, and I'm going to talk about importing data. So let's say somebody has sent you a data set that they want you to work on. So why go through all the effort of retyping in all the data someone else has sent you when you can just kind of put it into your data set really easily? So somebody's already sent me some name, height, and other data. So what I'm going to click on is import. And I've already saved this file into my Google Drive. And so you really need to save it into your Google Drive or somewhere on your computer that you know how to access it. And so if it's in your Google Drive, you can go under this My Drive tab. If it's in on your computer, you can click on upload and hit select a file from your device and navigate to your file from there. So I'm going to click on My Drive, and then I'm going to hit select, and I'm going to get a couple options. It's going to tell me the data I'm inputting is name, height, and age data. And so it's going to tell me, do I want to create a new spreadsheet, insert a new sheet, or replace the spreadsheet? So I've already put in some data and I want to have it in the same spreadsheet. So I don't want to create a new spreadsheet because that's what would happen. It'd create a brand new spreadsheet. I'd have to rename it. I have to restart completely. I don't want to replace my current spreadsheet because that would delete everything I just typed in before. So the best option for me is to insert a new sheet. So I'm going to click on insert a new sheet. It's going to ask me to import the theme. Don't worry about that. Generally leave it unchecked. What this will do will, if you had crazy fonts or colors going on in the previous spreadsheet that you're importing, this would kind of preserve that as you're going on. But generally you want your spreadsheets to be very basic, very clean, no crazy colors, no crazy font size or anything like that. So I'm going to leave that unchecked and just click on import data. So it's going to load for a moment. And what you notice is now I have 3 sheets down at the bottom. And so I had my name, grade, hometown, and height data, which is this one. I had this brand new sheet 2 that I created. So we're going to rename this and call this new sheet that I created. And then this one that got named sheet 1 is all of the imported data. So I'm going to call this imported name, age, height data. And so now I have all this data that somebody else has sent to me that I can work on and that I can edit really easily without having to manually put in all of these different things. So at this point, I have 3 different sheets, but because I named all of them, it's really easy for me to see. Oh, do I want the ones that I've inputted? Then I just click on name, grade, hometown, height data. This new sheet that I created here doesn't have anything on it, but I can put new things on it. So I can say, this is my new sheet, period. And so it's a really great way, these sheets with my now imported data sheet, to really organize your data. If you have like potentially, if you're looking at things across time and you could have a sheet that's 2022, 2021, 2020, and keep going back into years, it's a really great way of just organizing things that it's all like in the same place, but it doesn't have to be all jumbled together. And so the last thing you're going to want to do is often you want to share these spreadsheets and let other people see them. So there's two main ways of sharing it. So the first is you have in the top right corner, you have this big button that says share. And right now, when I hover over it, it says private only to me. That means I'm the only one who can see this file. No one else can edit it. No one else can look at it. So I want to change that. Let's say I have some friends that I want to send it to. So I'm going to click on share. And right now, it's going to say that Peabody Scholars, which is me, that's my email, it says you right here, is the only person who can be editing this. So what I can do, the easiest way to kind of share a file with somebody else is to get the link. So what's going to happen is I can copy this link. And so anyone with this link on the internet can view my file. So that's a great thing. I don't want anybody to mess with our data, but I want other people to look at it. So I've hit copy this link, and then I go into my email and I can email somebody. So let's say I go into my Gmail and I go to my email, and let's say I want to send this link to this spreadsheet to somebody else. So if I hit compose, and then I want to send this to Bob at gmail.com, and I say link to spreadsheet. So I'll say, hi, Bob. Here's the link to the spreadsheet. So, and then I will copy and paste the link. So I copied it over there. I'm going to right click and I'm going to hit paste. And so now there's a link here. And so I'll say, thanks. And so if once I send this email to Bob, he can just put this link into his browser and it'll take him exactly to this spreadsheet where he can see it. He can't edit it. He can't do anything else. And so let's say I wanted to change that and let Bob edit it. So clicking right now, Bob can only view it because he has the link. If I click on comment, then he can comment on this, but he still can't change anything. But if I click on editor, then Bob can change things. So it's really up to what you need people to be able to do. So right now, I just want Bob only to look at it. So I'm going to click on viewer, and I'm going to hit done. And so when I send this email to Bob, he'll be able to use this link and access the spreadsheet. So another way that I could do it is, let's say I want to just send Bob a file. I don't want to send him a link. I don't have to worry about any of that. I just want to send him this kind of spreadsheet file. So I'm going to go up to file, and then I'm going to go down to download. And there's two main options. There's this Microsoft Excel file option, and there's this PDF file option. So a Microsoft Excel file will let Bob will click on the file and it'll actually open in Microsoft Excel, which is a little confusing because right now we're in Google Sheets, but if you send this Microsoft Excel file, it'll actually open a completely different software, which Bob may or may not have. So using a Microsoft Excel file is a little bit risky because if Bob doesn't have Microsoft Excel, he won't be able to open and access the file. But the great thing about a Microsoft Excel file is if Bob does have Microsoft Excel, then he can open this file and edit it in such a way that he wants. And so he doesn't have to worry about logging into any accounts or being shared with a link or anything like that. You can just send him the physical file. But then if Bob doesn't have Microsoft Excel and you just want Bob to look at it, you can use a PDF file. So a PDF basically just sends your file as an image. It'll send each of the sheets that we created in basically a separate image, and then Bob can look at it, kind of give you feedback, whatever is for your specific task at the time. And so for me right now, I just want Bob to be able to look at my file. So I'm going to click on PDF, and what's going to happen is it's going to give me a couple options. It's going to actually tell me, it's going to say print settings, which might be a little confusing, but it's actually just going to save it. So you're going to click on export, and then it's going to say downloading PDF, and then you see this thing popped up right here. So that's actually my downloaded PDF version of this file. So if I go back to my email, and let's say I also want to just attach the PDF just to be sure to really make sure that Bob is going to get this file. And so now I want to add it to this email. So I can actually drag and drop, and you'll say drop files here. So all I did was click on it and move my cursor over here, and then I let go of the cursor, and now it's added here. You can also click on attach files, and now pull up a new window where you can access your files to do it. But then I'm going to click on send, and I'm going to send this file out, and so that Bob can look at it. And so you can attach multiple files. You can do kind of whatever you need by kind of saving it, dragging and dropping, or going to this attach files button. So in this video, I've talked about creating a new Google Sheet, how to name the file, how to input data, how to create different sheets and rename those sheets, as well as importing data from somewhere else, and then finally sharing the data using a link, and then also sharing a PDF version of the file using your email. So that's all I have in this video, and thank you so much for watching.